Okay, cool. We are live. I have not done a set cast in a very long time. And these two were about to play a set and they asked if I wanted to stream it and I said yes, so here we are today. So yeah, I haven't done a commentary stream in a very long time. Hi guys. It's a best of 11 set. The usual ranked maps. To be honest, that just basically means any map that's like currently played, because there are some maps that aren't ranked. Let me do a roll the number. Okay, I'm gonna flip a number. I said a number, he said heads. Oh my god, okay. Heads or tails coin. Sure. Boycah map. Yep, I got the rolled heads on my end. Tiny Tactics. That's technically not a ranked map, by the way, but yeah, as I said, it's basically any map that's like actively played more than anything. Alright, we got our first game. Got Killer as the Toxin green on the left, and Boycah as the Stealth in red on the right. Map is Tiny Tactics. Things you should know about the map: you start off with a 2.5k crate, so your actual starting cash is 12.5k. You have a very accessible third supply, and you actually have a double layered supply here, which is interesting. You have to make a supply here and the supply here, or if you're US, you click on the two docks separately. You got your two oils here. Makes for a very high income map actually. And then you have this middle with 7 piles. And you also have this dock on the top with 30k. So the mid and the top dock are actually quite important in the mid game, especially because this is a GLA mirror and I'm expecting it to go mid game. Boycah is going for what I think is one of his signature builds, which is he is opening up with 3 supplies, getting a couple of tunnels on the map. He's gonna go with a TNT, and the idea of this TNT is he's gonna go for the arms dealer, and if he gets the arms dealer, he will typically follow it up with 3 technicals filled with RPGs and workers to both pressure the follow-up arms dealer as well as get a tunnel in his opponent's base. In the meantime, Killer is sending a tech on the top of the map just to scout it out. Doesn't see that there's a worker here, so based off of that, he should kind of already have an idea of what Boycah's going for. Boycah's TNT does fail pretty catastrophically. It runs straight into a Tox tunnel, does absolutely nothing except kills 2 tech RPGs. In the meantime, Killer is on the 3rd supply of Boycah, detonates the barrels, clears out the entire worker line. Boycah will have to respond to that. Boycah does have the capture upgrade on his rebels. They are stealth, so it's going to be a bit tough to deal with them for the moment. Boycah now sending a worker to the top side, but Killer's already got 1 tunnel here, but he hasn't actually explored that far there. Tox TT from Killer actually does kill the forward supply of Boycah. So very good start for Killer so far, who is the Tox against Stealth and is the expected army to win in this situation. Stealth generally only really has 1 advantage versus Tox, which is the stealth tunnels, especially in the mid game. If it goes to a buggy war, can be very deadly and hard to catch the buggies, but in the late game, Tox I think is better. In the early game, I think Tox is also a fair bit better because of the Tox tunnels and the Scorps. So yeah, if you are Boycah, this is not the greatest position you want to be in. Technical does delay the forward supply there from Boycah. In the meantime, there is a AFK technical from Killer. Bit of a miss micro. The game is stagnating a little bit. Second arms dealer from Killer now. I actually think Killer should go for a palace here. I don't think an arms dealer is the right move. Yeah, he's dropped the palace now. Killer might... Yeah, he is popping a couple techs in anticipation of the famous Boycah tech RPG. And when I said this build was famous from Boycah, I do mean it is famous. Boycah loves doing this build. Unfortunately though, Killer does intercept it, and Boycah is in a lot of trouble right now. The Tox is on the way to Palace. He is on the way to Palace too, but as the game stands, Killer saved most of his RPGs, so once that Palace is up, he insta-researches Anthrax Gamma. He gets a bust from the arms dealer, or from his 2 arms dealers, soon to be 3. And if Boycah gets charged at by Gamma buses, then there isn't really anything he can do, because he's not going to get buggy ammo for a while, whereas the Gamma bus timing is a lot earlier than the buggy ammo timing, at least. Because you need a market to get the core upgrade for the buggies, whereas for the buses you need the palace only, and you're not really queuing anything up in your palace. Yeah, even now, Killer is evacing all of his RPGs from his techs, just to prepare them ahead of time for the Gamma bus. He's actually made a 4th arms dealer. If he got that refiner, I think he could actually spam on 4 arms dealers. But yeah, he's getting the refinery a bit late, but he will eventually get it, I assume. Scorpion just scouting a path. I think he's just sending the Scorpion just to see where the stealth tunnels are, just to get a good idea of where to push. Boycah himself is prepping up a bus. TNT from Boycah. Squirt push coming in from Killer. The Stinger is doing a bit of an intercept on the TNT. Having said that, nope. There was a small window where Boycah might have been able to kill 1 oil, but the Tox tunnels are just very potent against infantry. Boycah is getting pushed out from his oil area by the Scorps, and this is what I'm talking about with the Tox v Stealth. I think in the early game you struggle against the Scorps. In the mid game you actually struggle against the buses, because Tox's buses are just strictly better than your own buses. And until you get like buggy ammo, you get like a line of tunnels, and you have like a massive buggies, assuming the game hasn't significantly swung to Tox's way, then there's like a decent chance for stealth. But yeah, stealth, it's very difficult to get in that position, whereas Tox, you kind of just need to spam the Scorpion button, spam the Gamma Bus button once you have the Palace, and you can't really do anything in this situation. I do expect this matchup to go 1-1, just because I do think it's so heavily favored towards Tox, especially on maps with lots of eco. I think Tox really crushes on those kinds of maps. Boycah's doing a nice job. He is clearing up the mid with his buses while the Scorps are popped out. I actually don't know if... Oh, that's cool! Huh, I didn't even know that. So apparently in live replay functionality, you can actually see what's in the tunnel. You can't normally see this in Vanilla 0 Hour. This is a Generals Online thing. That is very cool. I like that. Gamma upgrade is online, as you saw with the pink Dachshund. There are 2 Gamma buses right there. Scudstorm at 60%. Boycah has not dropped a Scudstorm in the meantime. Boycah is going for a bus strat. He's just kind of relying on outplaying here for the moment. Having said that, Boycah is down 2 oils. and a supply as well, because he is not collecting from this and Killer's taking from it. So it's 6 supplies versus 4 supplies. 6 supplies, 2 oils. Artillery platform getting focused down. Killer's Jarman gets counter sniped by a Jarman in one of the buses. Lot of Scorps from Killer. I actually would like to see some more angry mobs from both of these guys. I think angry mobs is a really annoying way to zone out buses and buggies as well, for that matter. And I mean, they're very inexpensive. Like, it's only 800. You get the upgrade from Palace for 1,000. And even if you zone away one bus, it's kind of worth it. If that bus was going to be able to kill your eco otherwise. Or like at least clear you from the map. Something I think I noticed as well is that I think, at least from the games I played and what I just saw there, I think the Tox puddle bug is... No, I don't think it's fixed. I think it's still there. Because I've seen situations where a Scorpion will fire its shell on a bus, and normally in 0 hour, if the bus is at 50% or less, if it gets hit by a like a radiation or a Tox puddle, then it instantly gets bunkered. But there are a couple of times, yeah, like there it happened, but there are a couple of times where I've seen it not happen. Which is interesting that there's like a little bit of an inconsistency there. Hello, nice stream. Hello, Nunez. I actually forgot to put the scoreboard. I'll just put that real quick. There we go. Okay. So Boycah is retaking the mid here. AP rockets for Boycah, no AP rockets yet for Killer. He just got AP rockets, as I said that. A lot of RPGs out in the open, free and ripe for the picking from Killer's Jarman. That's gonna give him a lot of bounty and also a lot of XP on his Jarman. I think even if he loses this Jarman, that's worth it, because he basically killed 1 bus worth of RPGs there. And this is actually what I was talking about with the mid-game a little bit. This mid-game, if it's a buggy war like this, I do think it favors the stealth because, well, he actually used GPS as well, which is another reason I didn't even mention earlier, but these stealth tunnels are always going to be easier retreat paths for the buggies compared to these tunnels that are visible. And the Tox buggies are 1,100, whereas the buggies of stealth are 900, so if you're trading 1 for 1, that still favors stealth just because of the costs working out that way. Gamma bus popped out here, does deny a tunnel. Supplies are exhausted here, so they're automatically moving to the mid, which is quite funny. They're actually moving to the top. Killer's still in a GPS buggy. And Boycah does not have scuds, but he's spamming markets. I don't think Boycah should be ignoring scuds entirely here. Like, obviously if it comes to scud v scud, I do think the Tox scud is still gonna come out because you can actually one-shot the scud of stealth because of how the Anthrax Gamma puddle works, killing the building with like a tiny bit of damage left. But otherwise, at least you're forcing him to hit the scud as opposed to the markets. Here, I think Boycah's economy just gets swept in one fell swoop by a scud storm here. Or he loses the palace, which halts his tech production, which is, I think, pretty important for stealth. A lot of buggies, actually for both players here, but Killer has more buggies at the moment, surprisingly. But I do think it's because of this extra money on the bottom side of the map that's letting him afford all of this. No idea why my name is Nunez here. It's Richard from Lebanon. Hello, Richard from Lebanon. Big fan of yours. Appreciate it. I do not speak in Egyptian. I've answered this question like a million times at this point, but just in case you're new to the channel, as I've said on lots of videos and streams, the channel at the end of the day is mainly for an international audience. I like to speak in English just because that's the most common language most people speak. That's not something that's changing. If you were going to ask if I can speak Arabic only streams or anything of that sort, so yeah. Scud did fire, and yep, on the palace, and 2 markets, and does clear up the wave of production there. Very brutal hit for Boycah. And now Boycah has to rebuild his palace, which is gonna take about a minute. And in that span of a minute, actually no, I think it's a minute and 20 seconds for palace. And in that span, the Scud is gonna count down, and then he's just gonna get hit again. This is why I think at least having 1 or 2 Scuds is not a bad idea, stealth. Because at least you can retaliate back, whereas Killer just kind of hitting his base for free. There's the sneak attack, Gamma Blast Pop, going to slice through the first arms dealer, presumably the next one. Anthrax Bomb was on the middle, cleared the workers. Angry Mob does clip out the sneak attack, but there is not really an organic solution for all of these buses that are popped. 3 more buses and a buggy get popped. Second arms dealer gets taken out. Another market there. Boycah calls it GG. Killer calls it GG. And yeah, the score is 1-0 to Killer. Marakar, why are you playing mods so often? Are you getting bored of 0 Hour? I actually played 0 Hour mods way before I played vanilla 0 Hour. If you actually look at some of my first couple of videos on the channel, or not even couple, like several dozens of videos, they were all modded 0 Hour content. I actually played 0 Hour like a while after I started my channel, which was originally built on 0 Hour mods. When the 3v3 50k final and who is streaming it, date is to be decided. The streamer, I think, will be Dummy for the final though. Passes 1, 2, 3. Nope, it is not 1, 2, 3. Nice try. And I like to make it annoyingly complicated numbers to make sure people are not sneaking into the room. Okay, game 2, reverse of the first matchup. Boycah now as the Tox on the left, and Killer as the stealth on the right. So if I was in Killer's shoes, I think there's 2 ways you can kind of play this game out. You can play this game out as just focusing on the map control and just trying to kick Boycah off of the map and hope to win a mid-game with buggies, or you could go very aggressive. Could potentially TNT the arms dealer and then try to just end the game early with like a swift 3-tech RPG block. Doing Boycah's signature move against them. Let's see what happens here. Boycah opening up with 3 supplies, Killer also opening up with 3 supplies. Box is kind of sparse between both players. Boycah's is especially sparse, as is his Killer. Boycah going straight for the capture upgrade. drops the tunnel first in the mid. Both players a bit late with their tunnels at the oils, but I think they're just placing tunnels elsewhere. Can we re? I have no clue why he's asking for a re. Did he misclick the tech veterancy? I have a feeling. Oh, he actually. Oh, I get what happened. He that's nice of Boycah actually. So what happened was the fake building. If you build it, it has two options, which is one is upgrade and the other is destroy. And I think Killer accidentally destroyed his own arms dealer, which obviously is going to set him so far back because he's not got anything yet. How old are you? I am 25. Richard from Lebanon asks, I watch all your games in the World Series in 2021. Are the games versus Excal getting more difficult, you feel? I don't know. I think given assuming equal power levels at the time, like assuming 2021 Excal is the same as like versus 2021 me, I think Excal and I have a really good sort of equal matching when we're both playing at our top. I think there are times where maybe I might flop or Excal might flop, but I think if both of us are playing in prime position, I think they make for very equal games. Boycah instantly dropping, not sure what happened there. Why don't you play FFA? We enjoyed you so much. I mean, I literally just uploaded an FFA video an hour ago. You can watch that, it's okay. Like, also I don't really play FFA that much. It's just not something I personally enjoy playing as my main format. Are you playing some games today? I uploaded some games that I played already.
You have been defeated.
Not sure what happened there. Okay. Excal beats you when you are not at your best. I mean, I think that's not an Excal specific thing, but I think that's just a general thing where if I'm not playing at my best, I mean, if the competition is equal, then yeah, I'll probably not win this set. Yeah, I think that's just like a general thing. I don't think that's specific to Excal. FFA is more fun for the viewers, really. FFA is not something I enjoy. That's just how it is. I care about my enjoyment of the game at the end of the day, because believe me, there are a lot of things I could do that probably would be good for the channel, but I would not enjoy them. I would rather do something I enjoy, even if it's not the best monetary path, versus doing something that maybe gets me like insane views, but I'm just not gonna enjoy it. I'll probably burn out from it. That's just my philosophy with my channel that I've had since its inception. Okay, Rebels queued up, so both players actually scrapping the idea of a TNT. Boxes sparse once again from both players. Killer's main box is actually sparse, but I think he will put a second arm sealer here, is what I'm imagining. Both decks are out, they are empty. Killer's got his tunnel up earlier here. Oh, if he actually focused the tech, he could have chased that down. He actually had the first shot there, but Killer opting to go for the harass instead. Worker line does get crushed by Boycah. This worker line is gonna get crushed by Boycah. And Killer doing the same, but the difference is Boycah's harass on the front supply was a bit better. And even if you are Killer in this position, you're doing good with the worker crushes, but as a stealth at the end of the day, in an equal setting, Tox is gonna prevail, so you're gonna need a little bit more of an advantage if you want to secure the win versus a Tox as stealth. So yeah, both players have secured their oils, both players now have a tunnel on the top. Boycah's making his second arm sealer. Killer is quite late to his second arm sealer. Killer, I think, is he trying the... No, these are empty techs. These are not RPG techs. So Killer's actually just going for harass. But the issue is, because of the way Boycah's built his main supply and this Tox tunnel here, it's a bit difficult to harass the rest of the supplies. Boycah's famous tech RPG pops out of the tunnel, defensively this time. Tech was sent here, I'm not sure what it was for. Boycah very aggressively taking this supply in. This is the power of Tox a little bit, because now that this tunnel's up, you're not really gonna push that that tunnel out until you have a mass number of quads, or buggies, or buses. Boycah's going straight in, popping red in front of the tunnel, kill the tech. And Killer is actually kicked out of the mid now. Loses another tech as well. Boycah could actually get a super tech. Yep, Scrap Deny was not successful. And the problem for Killer now is that he's lost the mid control. Boycah has this top control, and once Boycah actually musters up a couple of Scorpions, it's going to be very difficult for him to retake this area. And yeah, Killer doesn't really have the unit count to really threaten Boycah off the map, while Boycah's already quite entrenched, so to speak. Do I live in Egypt? No, I do not. But I do visit every once in a while. When is my next 1v1? I don't know. I'm just casting for now. Whenever it is, I don't have a schedule in mind for that sort of thing. I might play a tournament set tomorrow for the 0 Hour League with Thumbstep. I did my set with Killer pretty much when the league refreshed for the month. And I kinda just want to do my sets early, so I might play mine with Thumbstep tomorrow. 2 black markets dropped for Killer. Boycah doing another one of his antics, which is filling up garrisons with a million RPGs. I don't see many players doing this. Boycah loves doing this, actually. And it is very annoying at times. This is a good garrison to take, actually, but yeah. Boycah's actually quite late to the palace, so bus advantage will be for Killer for now. And if Killer wants to come back into this game, he's gonna need some really good buses while Boycah's still only on the Scorpions. And I think this is a really prime target for it. If Killer micros well here, he could actually get some really good pickoffs. As I say that, Killer does not micro well and gets bus bunkered, which is a really big blunder. Because even if these RPGs get saved, this is like a very critical window of time where Killer has to, at the very least, push Boycah back a little bit so he can try to contest the map again. Because as it stands, Boycah has both the middle and the top side of the map. And Boycah is going to pierce through the first bus and bunkers the second bus as well. This garrison is also going to be a little bit awkward for Killer to pop. Actually, he evacs into the Tox puddle, so he does end up losing the RPGs as well, unfortunately. I think the garrison's bugging a little bit because of the hitbox when it gets damaged. Because I know normally if it's full HP, it should be able to hit those tunnels. Couple barrels detonate, killing a few RPGs, but yeah. The issue is now it's a question of mass versus quality, or quantity versus quality. You got the high number of scorps versus the precision hit and run buggies. And even though the scorps will eventually get taken out, Boycah is making leeway into the supply of Killer on the bottom here. And this is just priming Boycah up for bus spam. He dropped 3 barracks in his base just to spam out RPGs for buses. And Tox buses are just one of the most diabolical units to play against, just because they kill everything, simply put. And as stealth, you don't really have a solid solution versus them other than angry mobs, but this is very early on into Palace tech. What I would have liked at least is if Killer made some barracks on the middle and the top side, just to pump out angry mobs in anticipation of the buses, but I think Killer is feeling a little bit of the heat right now, just because the start of this game wasn't too great for him, I'd say. Killer's got a good number of buggies, but the question is Boycah going to do a counterattack elsewhere, or is he going to defend versus these buggies? Boycah typically likes to do counterattacks, but I could see a really good bus pop here and a bus pop here to sandwich the buggies, actually. Boycah, I think, has 3 or 4 buses. There are the buses right there, and that's exactly what I was talking about. He pops the 3 buses from the bottom tunnel, kills 1 buggy, 3 buggies, 4, 5, 6, 7 buggies. Killer does a repop here. Boycah not with the best micro with this army, but he's gotten quite a bit of XP. Boycah is 3-star, as is Killer. You need 1500 XP to get 3-star. Both players have gotten the cash bounty, and Boycah, I assume, has gotten the rebel ambush. Boycah with a very aggressive pop, just to zone away the buggies. Trades with the bunkered bus. Boycah, no, sorry, Killer has dropped a Scud, and Boycah has just finished the Scud. So Scud advantage to the Tox. Can we get the table at the bottom a bit larger by any chance? Let me see. I actually don't know how to do that. I'm just gonna click a couple of buttons. Hope it does something. Yeah, I actually don't know what's the key to make that bigger. If anyone knows, let me know. What do I like more, 1v1 10k or 2v2 50k? I think 1v1 10k, easily. At the end of the day, I like the individual 1v1 formats in general. I like team games, but I also really do like basically seeing how how perfect one player can basically play. But I also do think team games in general, you get to see some really sick action if you have good team play as well. Speaking of team play, this 4-bus squadron just cleared out the front of Killer's base. Kill the market, kill the supply, kill the tunnel there. And he actually saves all 4 buses. Pretty much for free. Scud 1 is beaconed by Boycah. And yeah, if you're Boycah, you're kind of chilling in this game. Because you know eventually, once you get a mass number of buses, unless you get stopped by something like a demo trap or angry mobs, there isn't really anything that stealth can do. And that's why Killer is putting a couple of these bus countermeasures in play as well. Just the odd demo trap here and there, hopefully to catch out some buses. Boycah even scans the demo traps, so now he's aware that Killer is planting some demo traps around. Yeah, Boycah is just building up on his base. Has forgotten the refinery. Level 2 ambush from Boycah. I mean, I don't think level 2 ambush is really that good in general. And I actually think the level 2 cash bounty would have been better in a game like this. Because cash bounty kind of scales like crazy when you have buses basically killing tunnels for free and clearing out small sections of the map. I feel like you benefit way more from that than killing like an extra buggy or two with the Tox Ambush. I think level 2 Tox Ambush is more situational. I think the level 1 pretty much achieves what you want to do anyways. Boycah pumps out 2 angry mobs to the middle. Just got the AK upgrade as well. The supply is almost exhausted. This supply... Oh, both supplies are also... Yeah, they're about 6k each. Boycah with 7 buses. And you see how annoying these buggies are, or angry mobs are for buggies even as well, so... Yeah, and look how dominant the buses are, to be honest. They just kind of charge up to the buggies, kill a few of them, Boycah gets a good amount of XP, and then they just go back. Boycah did lose an extra bus unnecessarily there, but yeah. Killer's actually got a really large number of buggies now. But yeah, the problem is you always have to be so cautious with the buggies, because if there's a flanking bus pop, all of those buggies are just going to get torn apart. Nice counter snipe there from Boycah. Very annoying angle, right under the train tunnel. Artillery platform is getting focused. Killer is trying to make some headway into the base of Boycah. Having said that, there is a factory line of RPGs moving around in preparation for buses. 1 bus gets stopped up here, 5 buses retreat. This supply is basically mined out. Killer is mining out the last bit of this supply as well. Boycah's first scud is ready. I am assuming that's gonna be on the palace. We will see. If he hits this palace, he actually gets a market and potentially a couple of high value units there. Oh no, it's on the oil. Oh yeah, the oils are still alive for Killer. But I do think this game still is in Boycah's favor. Because look at how big Boycah is. He's got 5 markets I just counted from the left. Yep, 5. 9 markets, 10. Killer is on 4, 5, 6 markets. Yeah, 6 markets versus 10 markets. And Boycah's got the better army as well. And this is what I was talking about with the buses. Yeah, they just head charge the buggies and you can't really do anything about it.
You have
and
been
you lose
defeated.
so much momentum after that, and Boycah is gonna be close to sneak, and basically sneak plus buses are ridiculous. Dr. Goldfish from the high rank, that's probably Bowser, some other pro, right? AEV Marinexa. That's Ridwan. That's Ridwan. Pepsi says he does not bet on Boycah anymore. What makes you say that, Pepsi? I thought you were vouching for your American brother. Hello, Wraith. I have not seen you in a very long time. Good to see you. Think shift up to make it bigger. I'll try that in the next game. Blossoming Valley. Online feels so odd with the movements. Maybe because he's not used to the faster response. Could be it. Okay, Nuke USA. I have a feeling these guys are gonna wanna read this. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, shift up, shift down. Cool. Let's make it... I think this is a good size. Oh, I'm actually surprised that they're playing this. I think this matchup is awful. I think this is genuinely one of the worst matchups in the game, other than something like the Air versus US's. I think Nuke versus US is basically a does USA screw up kind of matchup. Or in more concise wording, it's basically on the USA player to lose the game. And you're kind of limited in terms of what you can do as the Nuke here. You basically have to go for the licks plus War Factory. Or in very rare cases you might do prop rush, but if the US is paying attention with their spy drone, then that usually doesn't work. So it's basically decided on can this Helix plus the War Factory units do a big enough dent on the USA. That's kind of the how this matchup plays out. Is it going Battlemaster or Gatling? He's gonna go Gatling as his first. I like both, to be honest. I find Battlemaster to be kind of nice though, because you can just charge it into the V and sometimes do massive damage. Gatling's, the benefit obviously is that you can hit the Chinooks if you do get it to flank around the map. And it's also better versus infantry obviously as well. MD's in the V, along with the tow missile upgrade. Bad sync from Killer there. He actually could have synced those together, and he probably takes less damage from this for his Helix, and he probably saves the Gat. Unfortunate start, and yeah, this is why this matchup's so brutal. Because if you don't get a good start with that first engagement, you don't really win this matchup as Nuke unless the USA suddenly has a seizure or something and just forgets how to use the keyboard. Yeah, I mean, Boycah's already got 4 Vs, he's loaded them up with missile defenders. Killer's only got 2 War Factor units out on the map, and once this Gat gets intercepted by one of his defensive Vs, this army's gonna push in, and then Killer doesn't really have anything to do with it. Killer is going for the prop, which is the right move, but again, Like, even it, you have to basically have the perfect start as Nuke in order to even have a chance at winning against USA. This matchup is just so difficult. You're enjoying your retirement, might make a return? I think 0 Hour is in a really good time period for people to start returning. Generals Online is really breathing a new, fresher breath air into the life of the game. You get to have these super responsive games where you're not playing prediction games in 1v1s and you're actually playing in real time. It's something for me personally that really got me into 1v1 spamming again. Just as like something I enjoy. Because if you're someone who likes to play 1v1s, then I think this is especially fun to play on Generous Online. And team games as well. There are obviously the cases where in team games, if you don't have a good computer, the game will still lag. Generals Online doesn't substitute your computer at the end of the day though. It just substitutes the net play of 0 Hour. If someone plays on a toaster, it's still gonna play like they're on a toaster. Supply and propaganda get taken out. Really big blow for Killer there. And yeah, Killer should consider dropping either a third supply here or going for the strat at this point. He does have 2 ECMs out. ECMs with Gatliks do actually make quite a nasty combo, but Killer just doesn't have the units right now. He's got 2 OVs as well, so if he actually makes a couple of Gats, he could push Boycah. But another reason why this matchup is awful to play is Nuke is super immobile with their army, whereas V's can kind of just tug at the army from one angle and then push from another angle like this. Boycah loses an MTV. Kaido asks, why do I not play Shockwave mod? Because there is not really a lot of people who play Shockwave. And when I say people, I mean good players, because if I'm posting content, I ideally want to play against people who know how to play the game. Unbelievably though, Killer has actually found himself in a situation where he is pushing into the base of Boycah with Overlords and ECMs. But I mean, look how simple it is for the US. I mean, they just evac all of their Vs. You still have the propaganda, you still have the ECM Overlord, but even then, you still walk into a laser lock like that and you just can't do anything about it. ECM is not being microed under the licks just yet. Now it is, and this is what I'm talking about with the combo. It basically makes the licks immune to the rockets, which is very nice. Having said that, Killer has only got some very critically damaged units, and ECM is taken out, licks is taken out, Overlord is going to be taken out in just a second, but not without killing 2 Chinooks. And Killer is kind of in a damned position at this point because he lost his prop. His base got raided by this other V army. I missed that, sorry guys. This V will get cleaned up by this Gatling, but he is also now going to have to deal with an A10 from Boycah. Boycah's actually force fired the oils in case there was a Lotus on the map, but Killer actually never managed to get a Lotus out, just because of how tight the money was. Very late strat center though from Boycah. I don't know why he is not making the strat center. Like, he is making it unnecessarily difficult, I think. You don't even need this firebase. I think you could just cancel that and make the strat. Gats and Gatlix fighting against the Vs. One V gets killed. Lix gets taken out. Another Gat gets taken out. Third Gat will get taken out as well. Killer's main is about to be exhausted. Killer is not really gonna have the chance, I think, to mine from the middle because of how mobile the Vs are, so Boycah could even start long distance collecting once his main starts to run out. New Lix is out, but yeah. I mean, the longer this game goes, the better it is, I think, for Boycah at this point. He's just got such a massive lead with how much damage the V's dealt that Killer's always gonna have to be playing catch up. And unless Boycah does an insane mistake here, I think this game is going to be over for Killer. Which is expected. I think this is the second hardest matchup in the entire game. So I don't blame Killer for losing a matchup like this. Lix does get barely taken out. No sign of a prop. Boycah's about to have his search and destroy. With some pretty full Vs back at home as well.
Low power.
810 just got used, I think, on the War Factory. I think War Factory and Airfield here. Killer just got rank 3 as well, actually, but he doesn't have SCC yet to use this Carpet and RT. Yep, 810 on the War Factory. Takes it out. And what does Killer have for SNDVs? He has 2 Gat tanks and a Lix, which is not enough. So this game is super over. Do you see Shockwave mod bounce? I mean, I have not played Shockwave in a very long time, so I would not be able to tell you at the top of my head, honestly, without having a look at things. I think one of the balance changes we need for this kind of matchups is decrease repair time for Helix because it is so slow. And this won't make it overpowered or broken because it needs skills and micro to pull back the Lex before it dies. At least it will make it more balanced for China's versus US in early game. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting idea. I'm not saying I disagree with it, I'm just saying that's interesting. The way air units repair is actually different from how vehicles repair. So vehicles actually are percentage based healing, which is why you might see something like an Overlord heal crazy fast in a War Factory, whereas air units, I think they heal at like an actual number rate. So like, I don't know the number at the top of my head, but like imagine it's like instead of 5% healing per second, it's like plus 5 HP per second. Which is why air units heal very slow. So I'm expecting the same thing. Again, I think this matchup really just depends on the very first engagement. It's going well for the nuke, for any sort of game to happen, but I feel like both of these players are fairly on point. And they're not gonna make that mistake, but we will see. Boycah not doing much with that. I think Boycah's gonna go for a fast prop. Yeah, he's gonna go fast prop. Do I like that? I don't know. Yeah, it's a fast prop. I mean, on some maps I think it's good. I'm just wondering if this is the map for that. I feel like even if you get an early Overlord ECM, there's a lot of garrisons between your base and the USA's base. Killer doesn't actually see the propaganda from Boycah, so he doesn't know if it's fast prop just yet. The way Killer is playing makes me think that he thinks it's a Lix because he's playing a bit far back. Yeah, he's even sent the dozer out to try and scout that side for maybe a gap. Good engagement on the Battlemaster. Boycah will have his prop soon. He's gonna instantly queue up a Overlord. Yep, 2000 just got taken away. Now if Killer focuses the power plant first before the Overlord gets out, that's a pretty big win. Yep, Killer now knows that it's a fast prop. And I actually think Killer should be ignoring this War Factory and going either for the trucks or the power plant. Now he's going for the trucks. There's an Overlord out. Truck is at critical HP. Boycah has not made a barracks yet for the Lotus. Killer has dropped a strat center. Killer is doing the right moves though. He is force firing the oils immediately, so Boycah doesn't have a chance with Lotus. Boycah is on a second Overlord now. And if that gets a Gat Overlord, or a Gat Cannon on it, then it's gonna be a little bit scary. 1v does get locked down. Is he gonna commit to a mass laser lock? He is, but it's a little bit of an awkward laser lock. I actually think Boycah could have charged that if he wanted to, but I think he's just playing it a bit safe for now. Yeah, this is all of Killer's army except for 1v he's making now at home, so if that army actually died, I think Killer straight up lost the game, but yeah, it's split second decisions like that are not easy to make. Should be updating the scoreboard as well. Let me just update it very quickly. Boycah actually might win the reverse of this with a build that I don't think should have worked, to be honest, but I'm getting proven wrong. There are S&DVs out. I think Killer also really needs to get chem suits fast, because it will make his engagements versus the nuke overlords a lot better. Because these guys can't focus the infantry with the radiation shells anymore if he's got chem suits. And yeah, this is like a first, honestly. I've never seen a USA have a worse KD than Nuke. That is a genuine first. That is crazy that Boycah has a better KD right now than the US, as nuclear general of all things. But yeah, this is gonna get very awkward quickly, because I think Killer's gonna try and force a base trade, and Boycah is gonna try and press the attack on Killer's base. Killer's making the right moves. He's looking for the dozers as he's moving around with his main army, focusing the buildings. Lots of missile defenders ready to laser lock. No supply lines, so I don't even think he's got any strat center upgrades yet. One Overlord is very, very close to getting taken out. Just needs a couple more shots from the missile defender or the Crusader, but that Overlord will barely survive. Boycah is migrating his dozer out of base. This army needs to be looking for the last dozer, because if Boycah gets hunted and it's a base trade situation, then the nuke in theory should be losing it, because the US has got a way more mobile army, even though the nuke has a way stronger army with this composition of overlords plus CCMs. Killer, I think, is panicking a little bit. He was moving his V there as well. Boycah is trying to save his last dozer. That S&D is still alive. Oh, he loses the last dozer. And I think with that, Boycah is just gonna get his last 3 buildings chipped off, and then Boycah just gets kicked. He can't do anything at this point. This is 2-2 to Killer now. But I think Boycah definitely played this a lot better than Killer did. Killer looked very very shaky with the nuke, at least. No GG from Boycah. Whereas Boycah, I think he did kind of outplay Killer on build order, but yeah, I mean, I'm hammering the point a little bit, but this matchup is just very brutal if you are the nuke general. They nerf Vs. There are no bounce changes to the units in this, because it's just optimizing the net play more than anything. They have not adjusted balance. If anything, Vs are probably a little bit better, just because of how much more responsive the game feels, and Vs are a micro unit, so having better responsiveness means better micro. Blue Hole. Nice. One of my favorite maps. And many people's not so favorite map as well. Let's hope for a matchup that's not a 1-1. Okay. This could go either way. GLA demo on Blue Hole, so we got a GLA mirror on our hands. Down on the bottom we have Boycah as the red GLA vanilla, and on the top we have Killer as the green GLA demo. And Blue Hole, a big reason why I like it and why a lot of people do not like it is a very macro heavy map that really stretches your APM to the test. So you got these two supplies in base, you got 2 oils and a refinery in base. You have 2 oils, 3 oils on the top side, and you have an oil there. You have a bunch of supply piles in the mid. You have a total of 8 piles per side. You have a very hefty 30k dock, a couple of piles as well here. And I think the total number of oils, if I'm counting correctly, are about, I think 12? Yeah, I think 12. Yeah, 12 oils on the map. So very eco-heavy. Many people think that this map style of eco-heavy maps is boring because they should play real games like no ecos on Tournament Desert versus Nuke, but personally I think higher eco maps allow for better skill expression, which is why I like them at least. And speaking of skill expression, Boycah is doing a drive-by with his technical, gets a good crush on one of the rebels. That's a little bit of skill expression for you there. Killer actually took the garrison of Boycah in the middle, and he's actually gonna very critically kick Boycah off of this tunnel mid, which means Killer has a very easy option to expand there for the future. So 1 oil for Boycah, he's capturing this one. Killer is trying to get 3 oils, 1 is denied. Boycah's on 2. He can get on 5 oils actually pretty comfortably. Oh, this oil might get denied. It does. Very bad start actually for Killer with the demo, which is actually significantly better if it goes into a mid game. But yeah, Boycah is just kind of taking on Killer with the technicals for now. Boycah has this corner. He's gonna have this corner. So even though he lost the middle, Boycah's got both corners, and Killer is on 0 supplies currently. And Killer is losing his last remaining techs. Killer actually sent a TNT here, which took out a supply. But the problem is, if you're going for a TNT on this map, kind of need to make sure you kill your opponent if they're getting the oils and just unlock the production. In this case, Boycah's got his production alive, so he can actually keep sustaining units because of the money he's getting from all of these oils. Killer's only got 1 oil. He's trying to get these 2 oils, but I think this game is already lost, to be honest. Boycah is so far ahead right now, money-wise. I mean, you can even see the cash per minute. Boycah's on 2. I don't know why the money's fluctuating like that so much, but let's just say he's around 6k. Killer's barely under 2k. Like, he has triple the economy of Killer currently. Like, I think if Boycah just consolidates the map with more tunnels, gets the remaining safe supplies, I think he can easily just overwhelm Killer with a bunch of spam as a follow-up. I don't really see how Killer comes back into this. GLA Vanilla, in my opinion, is an underrated GLA in mirrors. I think it's a good GLA, but you can't deny that if it goes to a mid-game, you do prefer the demo between the demo upgrade, the demo ambush, the demo scud launchers, the demo scuds. I mean, scud launchers are the same for both, but the demo scuds are also like a really big factor as well, because being able to one-shot your opponent's scuds is a big deal. And in a complete turn of events, Boycah has a sneaky tunnel on the top side of his base, which might threaten Boycah's production, but I don't know how much Boycah has in tunnel. I think he's sending some units back from around the map. Boycah needs to be careful, because if he does actually get his production camp, this game could get very weird very quickly if Killer takes over his base. I think if Boycah just plays it a little bit slow, gets his unit count a bit high, I think he'll be fine. Killer's actually mining from the middle now. Killer's got a pretty big army on the 2 arms either. Both players on 2 arms. Boycah's actually forgotten his oil there. Garrison does get cleared out, which will make clearing this tunnel significantly easier, but having said that, Killer does come prepared with a pop. And a really good use of the pop from Killer there. Healing his units, damaging, going back in. A bit of a committal pop at this point. Big turning point, I think. Killer does actually win that battle. Can he save the units? I think if he saves these units, he still has a shot at actually trying to push Boycah a bit, but Boycah's actually expanded with another arms here in the corridor, and he's making a palace here. Killer's only dropping a 3rd arms theater. Boycah now getting his safe supply, now getting this oil as well. And Boycah still got the advantage. I mean, he's even expanded to this supply above the corner as well. Killer really needs to try and make this push work, because I think he's already too far behind, but how successful this push will be, I don't really know. Boycah's got quite a lot of units, and he's actually getting a pretty good concave onto Killer's army as well. As I say that though, Killer does get a good concave now himself, but I mean, you even take it if you're only losing by barely as Boycah here, because you need to be winning by a lot at this point to be pushing into Boycah's base safely. And yeah, Boycah's just kind of slowly but surely taking over the entire map, now on 20k a minute. That's the classic blue hole cash flow right there. Just having so much cash, then way too much cash that you can barely even spend it. Killer going in, now he's even mixed the Scorpion, but Boycah's on a palace. He's gonna be on the rocket buggies. Garrison actually does get taken back by Killer here. Killer is making 5 arms dealers, so yeah, he is really committing to the unit spam to try and push into Boycah's base. I don't think that's a bad idea, to be honest. I think that's fine. Not the greatest engage though for Killer. Both players now rank 3. They've not gotten their cash bounty. As you can see with the special powers tab, they still have 2 unspent points. Killer is rank 4 now, actually. Yeah, both players should be getting the cash bounty. Even though there is a lot of cash on the map, it still makes a difference if you just have that extra bit of cash flow as well. That garrison's kind of full. It's got 3 RPGs there, but it's about to get collapsed upon by the quads. Yeah, garrison gets taken out. Killer fully spamming Scorps. Yeah, and really sloppy though. Neither player has cash bounty at this point. I mean, you saw how much army both players lost there. I mean, they effectively would have just been able to recycle their army again with the cash they would have gotten. Boycah's now mixing in buggies, but the raw unit spam of Killer is actually starting to overwhelm Boycah a little bit. Now both players finally get the cash bounty. The question is though, is taking over Boycah's base gonna be enough for Killer to claw his way back into this game? Because now he's gonna have to be fighting against buggies, and he is nowhere near his palace. But if Killer does get to demo upgrade, oh, that's really poor micro from Boycah. Oh my goodness, that's really bad micro from Boycah. I mean, Boycah should have lost this entire army the way he microed that, but if Killer does actually get to the demo ambush, Killer's actually rank 5 now, unbelievably, so he has sneak attack and anthrax. If he gets demo ambush and combines it with a good sneak attack, then he could actually just clear Boycah out of one of these corners, which has a ton of cash in the docks. The buggies are kind of the lifeline for Boycah at the minute, but I don't like that Killer killed this oil. I think he actually should have taken this oil. I think in a situation like this where you have taken your opponent's base, but the opponent has both corners, you want all of the money possible from your opponent's base. I think taking the oils for yourself was a better option for Killer at least. Boycah on 5 arm sealers, 2 of them are about to be camped. Killer still has a lot of units, I think. Never mind, he has 2 units there, but there is his lot of units. Floating 22k, which I really don't think he should be, given this is still not in Killer's favor, even though he has insane unit count. Boycah's got the mix of a couple Scud launchers as well. No demo upgrade from Killer yet. Which I really think in combo with the Anthrax and the sneak attack does have the potential to just entirely take out Boycah from a side of the map. Boycah actually is retaking his main base supplies unbelievably. Because of the buggy micro just letting him chip away at this army and then slowly crawl back in. Yeah, I don't know how Killer is floating 20k in a game where it's kind of this one push has to work, otherwise you fail. It's a little bit insane. Killer actually still has 3 unspent points. I don't think Killer knows if he's 5-star. No, wait. I think he just spent the points. Yeah, Boycah is starting to bunker up the top side. I mean, even if Boycah gets cleared from here, this supply is pretty much exhausted. There's the demo ambush, kills about 4 buggies. I actually think he should have saved the ambush with the sneak attack. I don't think this was a very good ambush. Anthrax on the bottom right stops the collection there for now. Killer is just going to lose his corpse. And now Boycah, you're gonna have to fight the Boycah corner fortified with 4 RPGs there, 3 RPGs here, and no RPGs in the palace, but also supported by a Scud launcher, and an Anthrax bomb is going to Killer's base, which is going to slow down his production. No AP bullets, AP rockets. I think Killer could have won this game, to be honest. I think he kind of flopped a little bit in the end. I don't think, like I thought Killer was doing really well with that 5 arms dealer push, but yeah, I mean, Boycah had a pretty insane start. 5 oils versus 1 is kind of an insane setback. Very good awareness by Killer to recognize what needs to be done. Yeah, I think Killer had the right idea, but I just think his execution was a little bit subpar compared to what I would think you need to do there. Both players are late with the cash bounty, but I think for Killer, the macro really was sloppy there. He's floating 22k in a situation where if he doesn't make progress in like the next few minutes, he just auto loses because of the sheer amount of map Boycah has. So now we're gonna see the reverse, and Boycah's actually got what I think is the better GLA in this matchup, the demo versus Killer, who is in the vanilla GLA. There is a way to box with the second barracks if you put it aligned with the rocks here, and then you align the arms dealer on the exterior like this. You get a very, very clean box that walls off both supplies and basically this entire area from techs. That's just like a nice little thing that I think people don't do often, that I think is really good, at least. But these guys are going with a more traditional box. Boycah late with the tunnel again. Killer will get this tunnel up significantly earlier, probably meaning that Killer will secure the mid again this game. The first tech does have a lot of impact in a GLA mirror on this map, just because delaying a lot of your opponent's rebel caps in the beginning does really snowball quickly in a map like this, where there's so many different areas to look at, and it's kind of hard to keep up with everything, even if you have the best macro for 0 hour. Yeah, you're right, Deadly Phoenix. Those are all things that I think I pretty much agree with. That would have helped Killer win the last game. And this time, both players are actually playing pretty defensive, I think, with their technicals. They're not really venturing out, trying to deny each other. One does get denied. Another gets denied there. So 2 oils versus 4 oils. So again, Boycah does have a lead on the oil count early at least. Nice booby trap on the oil as well there, means that he will have to send another rebel if Killer wants to take it. Same with down here. Killer is on the one arm seeder still. Boycah is making and completing his second one. Tech's being traded on the bottom right, but this exchange does favor Boycah, who especially now has a super tech, meaning if Boycah is paying attention and there's tractors being sent to this garrison, it's pretty much impossible. So I think this corner is pretty much set for Boycah to take for the rest of this game, at least until the palace tech, at least. In the meantime though, Killer is taking the top side of the map. That super tech from earlier is coming here, denies the oil steal. Yeah, I mean, if Boycah pays attention, this garrison's never gonna get cleared, I think. Especially because Boycah's putting every RPG on the map in this garrison. It's gonna be on 6 in a second. Boycah's on the 2, Killer's on the 2 arm sealers. Neither player has dropped their palace yet. Do think an early palace helps a lot for sieging, especially these heavily bunkered areas. Boycah's actually gonna be pushing in this area. I don't think Killer's done a good job at fortifying this top side. And his tunnel is really sparse because he's got 5 infantry units and a quad cannon to defend against this army. So Killer's actually gonna lose this side of the map as well, and I think losing both corners is almost a death sentence unless you do really critical damage. Killer's pushing down here on a quad with a quad poke there, but he's not really making any headway by clearing this out, unless he wants to tunnel around here quickly. But yeah, Killer's now gotta be feeling the pressure as well, because this could be a turning point in the set, where Boycah gets a 2-point lead.
A warrior has fallen.
And if the rest of the set plays out with 1-1 matchups, then Boycah will just kind of win on matchup. So it's gonna be a bit of a tight call for Killer. See if he is able to pull this back. 56% versus 0% on the palaces. And Boycah's the demo as well, so once Boycah gets on to demo scud launchers, demo bikes, demo scud storms, demo bikes, it's gonna be really difficult for Killer to not only hold but to also siege, because all of those things are amazing both offensively and defensively. They just have really strong AoE damage as demo in general. Killer is going to try and retake the top left corner, but yeah, it's a little bit of a dicey situation, because if Killer loses this engagement, I think Killer might just not have enough juice in the tank to claw his way back into this game. 4 arm stealers, 4 arm stealers. Two markets dropped. I don't think you really need multiple markets early on. if you get to the palace stage in a GLA mirror on this map, I think actually just dropping a Scud Storm early is pretty important. Boycah with a really piss poor pop, I think. Minaret Tower does get taken out. But having said that, by some miracle, Boycah actually wins this engagement despite an almost 180-degree surround on his entire tunnel pop. I think the garrison and the side helped a little bit, but I have no clue how Boycah did not just lose that entire tunnel engagement. That's really surprising. Command center dropped for Boycah, who is 3-star, and he has gotten the bounty and the demo ambush. Killer is still rank 2. Boycah's actually got a couple of buggies already. And once again, yeah, 8 RPGs. That's typical Boycah. Filling up the entire map with RPGs and garrisons. Yeah.
Let's kick up some dirt.
How many are in this one? He's got one. Both players are taking their respective mid supplies, but Boycah's gonna be on the buggy ammo pretty soon, as well as AP rockets and AP ammo. So his unit DPS is going to scale up significantly in the next couple of minutes. He's floating 13k as well. He's actually taken Scud launchers, so has Boycah taken ambush or bounty? Knowing Boycah, he probably took the ambush, I imagine. We will see in just a second. Boycah's Jarman's actually up here, interestingly enough. Yep, these Scud launchers are actually really annoying on a map like this. He's taking the bounty. Yeah, Scud launchers on a map like this are very, very annoying to play into, just because there's a lot of choke points where your units kind of clump up naturally, and just like that you lose half your army just to those Scud launcher pops. And they're really efficient. Means you can save a lot more money on other things like other units, Scud storms, map control, etc. And speaking of map control, Boycah is pushing Killer out of the mid. Will be losing that supply in just a moment. Other supply does get taken out by the quads and boogies. AP rockets out for Boycah. In the meantime, no AP rockets for Killer. No bullets for either player. And Boycah instantly dropping the 2 supplies to take the rest of the piles in the mid. Killer is taking out one of the other oils here. In terms of the oil count, Boycah still has 3, 4, whereas Killer is on 4. But it's about to get into a mid to late game, and you are a vanilla GLA against the demo. And you're not really feeling it if you're the vanilla GLA here, just because of how much demo can throw at you at this point. Really good cash spent, by the way, from both players here. Both players are actually not floating, which is really hard at this stage of the game when you just have so much money going into your Killer is gonna lose this oil area though, so that's potentially -2 oils. There's a significant lack of marauders. Any thoughts? Well, I don't mean to step on anyone's toes, but I don't think marauders are very good. I know there is a opposing belief among the various communities in Zero on this one, but yeah, I think marauders are pretty shit units, to put it very bluntly. Killer does get a pretty good engagement, and he actually still has these oils alive, so the oils will live to see another day. Having said that though, Killer, I think he's actually dropped more scuds than Boycah, but the issue is build space is kind of becoming an apparent problem, because some of these scuds are clumped up near some really key targets, like the supply here or another scud here, and the palace here even. So if Boycah gets a scud off on Killer's base, he is going to very much suffer, to say the least. Killer has an unspent promotion point. Maybe he's deciding on whether he wants scud launchers or not, or maybe he's forgotten about getting the next level of bounty. I honestly think it's not the worst point. I don't personally like getting the scud launchers that often, but I think there's definitely games where it's good. I don't know if I'd say every game is good, but I think it's good for Boycah. I don't know if it's good for Killer. It's good for Boycah because he's got so much defensive tunnel pops like this that he can abuse with the scud launchers, but Killer wants to go on the offense, and scud launchers are not that great on offense. You actually prefer buggies, quads, buses, and first scud is actually gonna go down from Killer, and this is looking like the beginning of the score lead for Boycah, I think, here, because between killing that scud, killing the army, Anthrax bomb on Killer's base, locking the production, Killer calls it GG, and Boycah
You have been defeated.
has got himself a 2-point lead. Sam says you don't understand the wildcard strats. That's why you don't have a 10 out of 10 wildcard rating. Yeah, I need to improve my ability to drop 900 markets on DEFCON to really sustain my 10 out of 10 wildcard rating. That is, I think, the FFA way, so to speak. Kojo Okowaja. Or Akawa. I don't know why I said Okowaja. I just added letters to that for no reason. Cool. Now I do think it actually bugs out a little bit on Generals Online. Let me actually see if I think there's a Generals Online version of this. I'm trying to look for it. What Generals Online used to do is it downloaded like a map pack of the quick match maps. And it's a USA mirror. So I don't know if it's still bugged, but... Oh, I don't think it's bugged anymore. Nice. So, the reason I was looking for a map is because previously, on older versions of Generals Online, the replenished supplies actually never replenished on the top. And they only replenished on the bottom, so effectively this side of the map was useless. But it looks like it's working now. So it's a USA mirror, by the way, which I think Killer will be happy it's a mirror, but I don't know if he's happy it's a USA mirror. Because he is behind, and you don't really want imba matchups at this point. You just want matchups that you can kind of win. Boycah going for Dozer 3MD drop. Killer in the meantime going for a War Factory and just walking capture. I personally like Boycah's build better. I think this build is way too greedy, and in about 5 seconds, actually never mind, Boycah kind of fumbled it really badly. Oh! Okay, Killer fumbled that even worse. Okay, never mind. Killer really fucked that up. Because he actually got his infantry crushed there. But, I mean, Boycah could have very easily just dropped a barracks here. And then pumped the rangers there. I don't know why Boycah went Rambo with his dozer. Boycah's dropped off 3 MDs, which is gonna zone off the collection for now. Killer is gonna lose this 1V to 1 MD, and that's a trade you're willing to take as Boycah, because that actually very critically keeps his rangers alive here, that he can take. Boycah's actually gone for the CC keep as well. So his vision is gonna be pretty good around the map between the scan and the spy drone. And also the fact that you can't really hunt Boycah if he's got a CC, whereas Killer is susceptible to a dozer hunt. Pretty poor micro of the laser locks. Definitely could have laser locked AV or Chinook there. In the meantime, Killer's actually driven a V here and he's gunning down the Chinooks. Will kick Boycah off of collection there for the moment. Killer only has his 1 oil, whereas Boycah's got the 2 oils here, but not this oil. Killer has a couple of Vs. 2 of them have units, but Boycah's got a couple of scatter MDs to try and intercept the Vs. No micro there for the first laser lock. This one's probably got a laser lock on one of the Vs, yep. And good MD drop off, kills the V, doesn't lose any in return. I mean, Killer's got a good engagement, but he's a little bit delayed with his eco because this oil is still uncaptured. Boycah actually could be laser locking with this MD, but it's actually criminal that he's not doing it because he has the scan as well and the CC, so he actually has radar and sees this MD. Boycah could actually be kicking a Killer off of one of his supplies completely. I think even just guard moding there is fine. Killer's army does get trapped. Boycah clears up the rest of the V army at the cost of 2 Vs. Killer now on S&D, but Killer does not have an army. Actually, never mind, he does. He's got 2 Vs with now with the tow missile as well, and a couple MDs. He will finish off the soil. So Boycah, I think he's gonna try for a drop, but he decides to pick the lowest HP Chinook possible to do the drop. Is he using this for drop? Maybe he just pulled it away for the supply. Killer actually damages the soil pretty significantly. Yeah, Boycah's forgotten about that Chinook. This V is doing a little bit of a drive through, but it's got no MDs left. It already evac'd, which was cleared up. Boycah's got pretty full Vs, whereas Killer has not so many full Vs. But he does have the search and destroy as an advantage for the minute, because Boycah is building his own as well. I actually think flashbangs definitely would have been a good thing for both players. Boycah has a second barracks, so he can do it easily, and Killer I think should have gotten a second barracks at some point. just to have more sustained infantry spam for his Vs. Killer accidentally doing a all select on this V, I think. And this is also another reason why I think flashbangs are good, because there are a few garrisons like this on the map that are annoying. And also, if it comes to a mass evac, if you have a couple of rangers with flashbangs, it does make the game significantly easier. Killer does end up losing this V. Killer loses one of his oils at home. Laser lock will barely miss out the kill on 1v. Search is now deployed for Boycah. But Boycah, I still think, is in a better position between the better production spam and already having a CC. I don't know why Killers are only on one arms, one war factory, one barracks, and even made a third there with 3 oils. I mean, he is floating consistently around 6k for most of this game. Even if you have good macro on these two, you definitely need more. Sam says, I'm glad they fixed the ability to know what they're facing. Yeah. I mean, I know 99% of players think that just makes 1v1s and team games easier because you don't have to type your army in game, but what about the vibes of free-for-alls, man? I mean, it's great if I'm Vanilla China and I don't know that I have a Toxin and Air Force next to me in a DEFCON game. I think that's like a terrible thing for the game, but I don't know, that's just me. Laser lock from Killer is going to get 1v. Killer's got a nice army, does intercept the burden of Boycah. Killer is actually close to 3-star, and that's kind of important because if Killer picks Pathfinders and Boycah doesn't have Pathfinders, he could actually crush Boycah pretty hard if it comes to like a head-on V engagement where both Vs have to like do a mass evac because the Pathfinders will just gun down the infantry. 3 Vs versus 5. Boycah actually loses less than Killer there. Yeah, Killer not with the greatest micro, honestly. He's kind of unnecessarily losing Vs there. And he's floating 11k, and he's still got 1 war factory in barracks, and it's 8 minutes into this game. And he started the game with 3 supplies. And unbelievably, I don't know how, the guy with more fucking fire bases than production buildings has beaten the guy who actually spammed out units. I genuinely don't know how Killer won this game. I really don't. I think Boycah just microed the last couple of minutes really poorly. And Killer just had units. KD 0.5 means Boycah is trading terrible or terrific. I mean, it depends. If Boycah's killing key building targets, it doesn't factor into the KD. If Boycah's like stalling out collection but he loses his army, but he stalled out collection for like 2 minutes, then the KD doesn't reflect it accurately. KD is not like a accurate metric of if you're doing good or bad. You always have to see the situation of the game to see if it's a good thing or a bad thing that you have good KD or not. Anywho, we got the reverse of this matchup. Question is, will Killer do a drop this time, and will Boycah do a drop again? I do think drops are quite strong in USA mirrors. Like I think, honestly, unless you're doing the one supply War Factory capture build, I think pretty much every game there should be a drop. Boycah will do a drop again, and Killer's actually just gonna do the exact same thing, which is the one War Factory, one Barracks capture. Even though Boycah dropped this here and he denied the infantry. If Boycah plays better with the Barracks, this could actually get fucked over really easily in the bottom side, but he's actually gonna drop here. I don't think that's a bad target. I think this is actually an okay target to drop. And Boycah still has his dozer, so he hasn't actually committed to where he's dropping the dozer just yet. That's gonna delay Killer. And he's actually dropping the dozer here. I don't think this is a good barracks spot. I think this is a really easy spot that will get shut down between VQ ups from here and Rangers from this barracks. I think this was a way better spot. And you can immediately see why this was a bad spot. As I just said, the V just camps it out. 1V did get taken out by the two MDs earlier there. In the meantime, Boycah actually has not made a War Factory yet. I think this is a little bit precarious for Boycah, because Killer's got a few Vs out, and if those Vs go to a exposed area of Boycah's base, I think he's kind of screwed. Killer going with a very early S&D this time, and he's building it fairly exposed, by the way. This is a really exposed area to build the S&D. Both players are actually rushing an S&D. I don't know if I agree with that. I think getting the second War Factory is probably a bigger priority than S&D, at least. Because you can just chuck around a couple of MDs, and even if you have higher range, you're not going to be charging S&D Vs into missile defenders that will laser lock you regardless. Boycah barely evacs in time. Artillery platform will get denied. Good laser lock from Boycah there, does take out a V from Killer. Both players are gonna be on S&D, which is very bizarre that both players have S&D out, but no second War Factory, given they have 3 oils.
Search and destroy.
A lot of V's out for Killer.
Search and destroy.
A couple of them are full, but some are empty. And I mean, even if you're not going full V spam, if you had a second War Factory, you can sustain this production while also researching tow missile, which is going to significantly buff up your MTVs as well, and just your V damage in general. Yeah, this is just a very weird situation where both players have not that many units despite a pretty heavy eco map. And they rushed search and destroy, which is not even normal in a normal USA mirror, let alone a USA mirror where I think dropping more production is more important than getting your S&D on a map like this. Having said that, Boycah's oils are pretty exposed. There is a burn from Boycah actually. Boycah runs into a laser lock line of Killer, loses 1V immediately. Second V goes down, but not without doing a mass evac. Third V, fourth V, that's all of Boycah's Vs. Now it's just the burden of Boycah and the missile defenders to defend this oil, which I think he can defend for now. Killer not going for the second War Factory, neither is Boycah. Both players floating a lot of cash. Infantry does get swept up, not without taking 3 Vs, but more importantly, Boycah is going to lose his 2 oils, which is going to significantly hamper his economy. Killer once again dropping a power plant in a supply center before the second war factory. Boycah building a command center. Boycah lost his dozer, so he actually hasn't dropped it. And Boycah's actually just lost his last oil to the burden of Killer. Very nicely done from Killer. V does get intercepted from Boycah, but did drop off 4 missile defenders, which could laser lock. Laser locked on the V at the oil. Boycah sending some spy drone Vs, looking for the burden. No flashbangs from Killer. Does save his burden. Killer might lose his oil. He'll lose 1 V, but I think more importantly he saves that oil for now. Burden from Boycah on the bottom side of the map near Killer's oils. Could see a demolition of the oils on the bottom. Burden does get spotted and he will get taken out finally. Finally, the second war factory is being built at the near 7-minute mark. Meanwhile, Killer is... I think Killer's just gonna build a firebase again. He is floating 6k and he is not queued up a second war factory, even though he's got the dozers to do it. Time bomb on the supply will take it out. The reason Boycah's not going for this oil is because there's a V with a spy drone guarding it. Killer did a little bit of a standoff with Boycah. Boycah decides to head charge into the smallest concave in that V army. Loses 2 Vs. I think Boycah demo charged the refinery as well, just so Killer can't get it for later. I mean, Killer's floating 7k. And he doesn't even have like the V advantage right now. 9k. 10k. Dozer will get time bombed in the bottom. I'm gonna delay him from taking this. I mean, Killer should be ahead, but he's not, despite Boycah having less eco than him. Simply because Boycah's making more units. Burton does get taken out, leaves a V in the red. Killer still has not made a second war factory. Instead he's making a fire base next to a wooden tower. Also, Killer's Chinook collection is a bit inefficient right now. He's collecting 5 on 1 when he could just be scattering them here or long distancing the bottom side. Yeah, Killer once again having more fire bases on the map than war factories. And unbelievably, Killer has a bigger army than Boycah, despite Boycah being on the 2 war factory and Killer being on the 1. I don't know how. This is the second game it's happened. Oh my word. And Boycah's gonna lose the game again. And he's on 1 war factory and he's on 2. I mean, either Killer has really good V engagements, or Boycah is doing really poorly on Micro. And I don't know which one it is. I really don't know. Because by all expectations, Killer should have been losing this game because he was getting overwhelmed by V count here. And then suddenly he turns around with a way higher V count. Despite having more fire bases, despite having equal number of Patriots on the map compared to war factories. A10 from Boycah tries to defend. Boycah just leaves the game without a GG, and Killer unbelievably
You have been defeated.
wins both USA mirrors with 0 war factory spam. MC Genjabi says he is Egyptian but he don't speak Arabic. Hello MC Genjabi. Yeah. I've always wondered, it's better to drop dozer and build picture behind the walls on the second supply, or just drop 1MD. 1MD is significantly better. You only consider the Patriot if you're super weapon or if you're laser. Because vanilla Patriot is just terrible. Supplies give about 2.5k, give or take, Nick Tyler. See where Boycah is. So the score is 4-4. Mountain Mayhem. Hello Mojo. Oh, donation from Kiltol. Thank you very much, Kiltol. I'm thankfully I know what that word was supposed to be. I'm glad that's auto censored. I don't know if that's actually Kiltol or not. It might be someone smurfing under Kiltol. I'm gonna assume that is, cause I see Carnage in the chat. Oh, that isn't him? Okay, then I think I have an idea of who it might be then. I didn't even comment on the matchup, by the way. We have Boycah and Toxin on the bottom side of Mountain Mayhem, and Killer is the GLA on the top side. You start off with a 1k crate in Mountain Mayhem, so you actually have 11k start, which means you can actually open up pretty greedily in the beginning with this 3 supply opener. Nice box city from Killer. Same with Boycah. He's opening up with Tox Rebels to go for a fast cap on the bottom, whereas Killer is going for AT&T. MC Genjabi says, are you an iPhone or a Samsung guy? I actually used to have a Samsung. Now I have an iPhone though. Okay, terrorists get completely ignored. That's a little bit interesting. Boycah tries to drop off the RPGs to intercept the tech, but the tech actually just dies at the Tox Tunnel. The second tech picks up the terrorists. And this tech RPG is going to take this garrison pretty much for free. This TNT I don't think is gonna do much because there's a Tox Tunnel there. Then again, I think Killer found the spot for a double. But if Boycah's paying attention, he can actually just repair that. Yeah. He keeps the arms here to the hole, but it does kill the supply. Boycah has taken this garrison, but he's not gunning down Killer's oil just yet. Killer will deny this worker here. And Killer has 2 empty techs. And Boycah is actually gonna take this oil. And he's doing something very nasty, which is putting RPGs here while building a tunnel there with a worker he brought. Now the advantage for Killer is that there's no production right now for Boycah. But Boycah has a really scary tunnel here. Especially because there isn't really a good defensive pop position for Killer in this area at all, other than this side, but that's kind of far out. Killer parks his 2 techs in front of the barracks, and the terrorist just walks up and kills both of them as it just spawns from the barracks door. And he loses the 3rd tech there. So Killer's unit advantage kind of faded away in the span of 5 seconds. I just saw the super chat. I don't know why the notification's a bit late on my end, but Mazen with the super chat, big fan of you with the £5. Thank you very much, Mazen. I really appreciate it. I do, at the end of the day, play this game as a hobby, and yeah, it is obviously very appreciated. Even any bit of donation, I do like to shout out. So Boycah is actually on 4 oils here. He's not got this front supply, but I think this stronghold for Boycah is pretty important, because I don't think Killer's gonna be breaking that anytime soon. He is dropped off a TNT for one of the oils, so it's a good start. Killer is building his arms dealers in the most exposed place on the map, which is more forward than his tunnels. He's using the arms dealer to protect the tunnels, and yeah, Boycah does take this game. I think Dox does have a really good advantage on this map. Which is unfortunate for Killer because he's on match point now. How am I so good if I play this as a hobby? I mean, I enjoy it as a hobby, and in the sense that, like, it's something that I enjoy so much that I just kind of play it because I enjoy it that much, and it's like the main thing I play. But yeah, I think a bit of experience, as well as focusing on like specific skills you need to improve on, goes a long way. I think playing 100 games mindlessly is not as effective as playing 10 games with really oriented focus. Alright guys, we need to relax with the questions. I think the 20 questions are getting a little bit out of hand in chat. So I'm curious to see what Killer does this game. Boycah's going for Rebel Cap once again. Is Killer gonna go for the TNT, or is he gonna go for an oil cap? Killer actually has an incomplete box here. And here as well. And Boycah's actually not made the third supply, but in exchange he's actually dropped down 2 tunnels near these oils. And the reason he's doing that is because he wants to secure those oils for an oil grab. I don't really know what Killer's build is, because I don't see rebels, I don't see terrorists. This is kind of just the nothing build. Like, I feel like he could have more, but he's just dropped down a ton of tunnels defensively. But these tunnels aren't really doing anything because they're not boxing. The tech can still go through here and here. Boycah's first tech does get stopped. But yeah, I mean, he just got 6 RPGs basically with his tunnels. He didn't really do anything with them. Like, they're not really holding the map. And he talks like, I don't know why he's not playing aggressively with his tunnels. Boycah's starting the oil grabs. Killer did see that this oil grab is being started. Oil will get denied here. Nicely done. Yeah, Boycah going with the size tunnel there. Does get stopped. Oh, does it? Yeah, it gets stopped. So Boycah's got his oil. But he actually hasn't gotten these oils yet, so Killer economically is ahead because he is on 4 supplies and Boycah's just gotten a 3rd. But if Boycah can hold the oils on the sides here, then he is in a decent position. Is a little bit of a shame that Killer doesn't check this oil. He doesn't have an RPG popped out, so his vision's a bit limited here, but I mean, if you see this oil being grabbed, I think it's very much common sense that there's a good chance that he's gonna try for this oil as well. Tech gets stopped there. I mean, I'm curious, what is Killer's money gone? I think his money's just gone into tunnels. There's so many tunnels defensively, but the issue is he has like 1 tunnel on the map. But he's got like 8 tunnels scattered in his base, doing nothing. And he's lost the 1 tunnel for map control, so Killer has 0 map control now. I mean, this is just very bizarre. I don't know why he's built all his tunnels so defensively this early on. When he's the one, if anything, that, like, Boycah should be the one who should be a little bit cautious. Because he's against Tox and he's vanilla. Like, I think this is a case of overdoing it a little bit with the tunnels. And it's not even just overdoing it, but also just putting them in the wrong spots. Like, these 6 tunnels have done jack shit this game compared to the 1 tunnel on the map that he had, which was giving him access to denying this oil. Who is the king of micro now? I think it's a toss-up between Thumbstep and I. I think us two are easily the fastest players in 0 right now. I think everyone else is a bit far behind in that respect. When I say fast, I mean like both in APM, micro and macro. Ganja inquiring about my dietary interests in chicken or biryani. Or, sorry, chicken wings over biryani. I think biryani is probably better. I do think there are good chicken wings, but I think biryani is very consistently good. You can definitely have bad chicken wings. Biryani's kind of hard to screw up. First two buses out, by the way, for Boycah. One of them does get taken out. Killer's actually gonna try to take this oil. Killer not on pallets at all, and Boycah's already on a market, and yeah, as I said, he has the buses out. Yeah, Killer is doing a lot of these games where he's just kind of spamming units and not really playing with the tech. I think this is one of those games where you kind of want the tech as talks. I mean, Gavabus is one of the best units in the entire game. Don't see a reason why you're kind of compelled to play Scorp Spam. I mean, in the Blue Hole game, we saw a spam game. In the USA mirror, we saw way earlier tech games, and now we're back to spam. And yeah, Killer is spamming. Lots and lots of Scorps. Alright, let's relax a little bit about the horny shit, guys. We don't need to go into that. Boycah's oil will get taken out, I think, here by the Scorps barely. Will it? Yeah, barely. Boycah's Jarman walks right into the Tox tunnel and gets instantly sprayed down. What is the most common Egyptian fast food, or I'm assuming you mean cuisine? I think kosheri, and kosheri is like the famous one in Egypt, which is like lentils, rice, onions, a little bit of spicy sauce as well, just kind of mixed together. It's really nice. What else am I forgetting? Onions as well. And sometimes you can also throw in beef into the mix as well. Paladin tank or vet 3 double scrap scorpion? I think the scorpion probably wins that. The soil actually is still at the control of Boycah, so Killer actually hasn't even gotten that one yet. Probably because of this Jarman. And the buggies picking off the tunnels for the Jarman denies. So Boycah's actually just kept the soil. Yeah, Killer a little bit too greedy. And Boycah's got Killer's got 2 buses. Ambush is on the way for Killer. AP rockets, junk repair. No AK yet. 2 buses popped. No AP rockets for Killer just yet. No worker shoes for Killer. Oh wow, okay, yeah, Killer. I think Killer might be a little bit fatigued. And that this might be testing his stamina a little bit because... yeah, he seems to be falling off a little bit here. Yeah, a little bit of a clumsy mistake with the TNT. Between the really mass buggy spam and the 2 oils still in Boycah's position, and he just lost one of his buses here. Killer with a very unremarkable Tox ambush. GG's. Boycah does take the set
You have been
with
defeated.
a score of 6-4. Nicely done by Boycah. I think, yeah, Killer did look a little bit fatigued towards the end there. I think the decision to spam there was less a strategic decision and more that he might have just been a little bit tired at this stage. Maybe that's what was going on. I think Boycah does pretty good when it comes to endurance sets as well, so yeah, I think ultimately that kind of helped Boycah come out on top there. And with that, it has been a long set of casting. I don't think I'm gonna be playing any games just because I'm a little bit tired myself at this point, so thank you guys for listening in to this stream. Thank you once again to Mazen for the super chat earlier, and to the Killtall clone for the $1. And yeah, I shall be leaving it here, folks. GG.